You ever see this guy with the pillows on Fox? My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell. He is the greatest. The My Pillow guy. Mike Lindell. And he's been with us right from the beginning.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mike Lindell Show. We have some breaking news today, and we're going to talk about all the attacks and what they've done, not just to myself, but everyone across the country that spoke out about the 2020 election and then continued to speak out to get rid of the electronic voting machines and to secure our elections. I just met with our great president on this last Wednesday, and we talked about the electronic voting machines. We talked about our securing our platforms. You know, he came out about 2 weeks ago and said, we got to go to paper ballots, hand counted, no machines, same day voting, no mail-in voting, and that hopefully that executive order and those orders are coming out very soon. But I'm going to go back and by the way, everybody, they did a poll here in Minnesota. I'm gonna be kind of all over the board today, everybody, as usual. But we did a poll here in Minnesota because I'm very much thinking of running for governor. And the poll that came out was, what's your biggest concerns in the upcoming elections? And the election platforms moved into the top three, and a lot of places in the country it's number one, which it should be. What that means is, you know, a lot of people put down, well, economy is my number one, the border, abortion, education, all these things. Election platforms or our elections now have moved up, and I believe they should be number one everywhere because it is the most important thing, bar none. Everything our president's doing, everything he's doing right now, will all be in vain if we don't get to paper ballots, hand counted. Remember, 132 countries have banned the electronic voting machines. Over 100 countries have banned mail-in voting and early voting. We have the worst election platforms in the history of the world, in the United States here. But that's all going to change, everybody. But I'm going to take you back. I'm going to take you back in time. As you all know, back in January of 21, when I was out there holding my hand up going, hey, I got evidence that was brought to me on January 9th of 2021 by a guy named Dennis Montgomery. He worked with the CIA, and he had all the data from the 2020 election. And I'm out there going, hey, we have this, that, you know, here it is. And that's the attack started. It had started before then, the cancellations. And I'll say it again. I said, you know, on January 6th on January 7th and 8th of 2021, it's very important days in history, everybody, because 1.2 million Americans got deplatformed on Zuckerberg's Facebook, Jack Dorsey's Twitter, crooked Twitter, YouTube, Vimeo, you name it, you were canceled if you spoke out about the election, against the vaccines, or if you spoke out for Jesus. And those three things, you were canceled. But our voice did not go out that day, but they certainly tried to destroy it in every way, every sense. There's so many people I know to this day. I know you just seen yesterday or last night, all those Zuckerbuck and all of them were at the White House meeting with our great president. And, you know, a lot of these guys, I just wish you could go, hey, why did you do this? Or why are you still doing this? We at My Pillow, in my store, we're getting suppressed by Facebook. What they're doing to us right now is disgusting. It's beyond anything. They're basically trying to wipe out My Pillow in my store, and that's Facebook. That's just one, Facebook. And that's the others. You put me up on YouTube. The only one who gets to put me anything up on YouTube about me is Jimmy Kimmel. But anyway, That's what we're going to talk about today is these attacks, how far they went to just silence us. Don't talk about the elections. We want you all to be Fox News and Newsmax and Salem Media, where you don't talk about anything because of lawfare. Remember, everybody, in January and February of 2021, they sent out threatening letters to over 150 individuals and platforms saying, you better not talk. This was Dominion, the voting machine company that did this. You better not. We know you've seen something, but boy, if you bring it out there, you better keep everything because we're going to be bringing you to court. And of course, I got a couple of those letters, and I went, rubbish. I told Dominion to sue me. I said, I want to get this evidence out there to everybody. Well, a lot of people that got those letters, they went into fear. It silenced all of them. A lot of them got security systems. We tried to get I tried to get a lawsuit against the machine companies for those threatening letters. And we started it. A lot of them came out of Michigan. But anyway, they, so back then, with all those attacks to silence our voice, they went to extremes beyond anything you would see in the spring of 21. And that's where, by the way, when that was the genesis of Lindell TV here, where we started that, because the media that would attack, remember, they canceled My Pillow, box stores canceled, everything canceled. They attacked my company, my employee-owned company. They attacked my employee-owned company to get me to shut up. Of course, I didn't. And then you had all over the country trying to get images and everything. But you guys all know, I'm going to bring you up to the attacks that came across our country. Then I had the Cyber Symposium in the summer of 2021, which everybody gathered there, cyber experts, the media, and politicians all in one spot in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It's become very famous now, that meeting, because what it was, all the people that were there, they went back to their states and said, hey, we got a problem. And that was the start of something big. Right now, with the Cause of America, we have over 300,000 people on the ground in all 50 states. And you guys can all get involved there with our company, the Vocal, VOCL.com. You guys will be talking about that too this hour. But anyway, the breaking news, about 3 years ago this month, in fact, today I'm going to be heading down to the same hunting trip I took 3 years ago in September. As I left this office here, in September of 22 and headed down to Iowa to go duck hunting with my friend Tom Shrimp. And we got down there, and on the way back, we'll tell you guys all the story. On the way back, we pulled into a Hardee's in Mankato, Minnesota. Now it's 2 hours down, everybody, that I'm taking today. And we were already down there. We hunted our ducks, came back, stopped at this Mankato Hardee's. And we pulled in. We had our guns in the back, out of cases and stuff. And this is very significant. When I'm going to tell you that so all our guns are back there from hunting. We pulled into the Hardee's, and all of a sudden, there's no one in line in the drive-through. A car pulled in front of us like this. One pulls up to the side, and one pulls up behind us. And I said to my buddy, I said, Tom, something's going down. And this is 12:30. This is 12:30 in the afternoon. Okay. What I'm about to tell you, if this would have happened at night, could have ended up being just the most horrific thing ever. But here's what happened. So I stuck my head out. We had already gotten our food, and they surrounded us. And I opened my door. I said, who are you and what do you want? And remember, everybody, these weren't like three cars that looked like the FBI with sunglasses on, like Men in Black. They were just, you would not have known. I've been in a lot of places. Remember, I was an ex-addict. I've been some of the worst places this country's ever seen, with guns to my head. If you ever read my book, you guys, What Are the Odds, from Crack Addicts to CEO? So I've been in bad places, and I knew, and if my everything gets told me that these are bad. This is bad. Remember, I was one of the number one targets in the country. Have been, I guess, for 4.5 years. Get rid of this guy. Stop him from talking. He's talking. He wants to get rid of the voting machines. Get rid of the pillow guy. Get rid of Mike Lindell. kill his company, go after all his platforms, so he will shut up about this. We need to keep our way to steal this country. Well, anyway, I said, who are you and what do you want? And the guy goes, we're FBI. And I go, I don't believe you. Show me a badge. And he's on the other side of the car, and this guy's hiding behind over here, and this guy's behind us now like this. And he shows me, holds the badge up, and I said, I still don't believe you. I said, how about you over here? Show me your badge. And this guy whips out a badge. I said, okay, bad guys, they probably all wouldn't carry FBI badges. But we were still a distance from it. I said, what do you want? He goes, we're not going to arrest you. We just want to talk to you. I go, okay. And so we pull over there. Now, I'm going to frame that right there, everybody. If it would have been at night, I'm telling you, I would not have probably not even stuck my head out the window, because these were not cops in my mind. I would have took my pickup truck and bashed through the two cars and went flying down the highway to try and find a real cop to say, hey, there's guys after me. They're coming after me. Now, you guys all know what would have happened then. I don't know. Would they have started shooting at us? I don't know. I don't know. But it was disgusting. They could have came to my office here, said, here's what we need from you, and here's what they did need. So we pull over there, and I start talking to them, and they get us out of the car, and there's FBI guys all around us, and they're talking. They start telling me, asking me questions about, where have you been? Why were you in this state or this state on this date? I go, wait a minute. How did you guys? Did you guys follow me this morning? And they're going, and I go, you guys tracked me down to Iowa? And I said, so then I made a joke. I said, well, then you did see, you're my witnesses. I did out hunt my buddy here, Tom, and the guy. Anyway, by then Tom was all nervous, and they go, well, you guys we don't want to make you all nervous. I said, I'm not nervous. I said, I've been in plenty of situations. I said, I want to get arrested, because right then I wanted to get on Fox News. The first thing I would have said was, we got to get rid of the electronic voting machines. And so I'm sitting there telling him, I want to get arrested. He said, no, we're not going to arrest you. I'm going, okay, well, I want to go to that January 6th thing, even though I wasn't there. Mike, those are different FBI guys. I said, oh, really? I said, well, why don't you give them a call? I still didn't understand what the heck they're even stopping us for. So then I find out two of them are from Colorado. And I go, well, okay, here it is. This must go back to Tina Peters. And you guys, Tina Peters now, at that time, she had took when Jenna Griswold, the Secretary of State of Colorado in the spring of 2021, I didn't know Tina then, but she was just a clerk, and she wasn't even really political. And there was problems that they had in the Mesa County election, and they all came to Tina, the townspeople, and said, hey, there's a problem here. There's no way that these people won when it was impossible. It was like it's a Republican county or whatever, and all the Democrats won, and they knew something was wrong. So then she said, well, I'm the clerk. I do a great job. She was a Gold Star mom, never had a jaywalking ticket in her life. And so they come to her and they said, hey, and she's going, well, they go, well, maybe it's something inside the computers that you can't see, or that you don't know about. And the way it went down, I guess, then about that time, Jenna Griswold, one of the most crooked politicians or people this country's ever seen, she comes out with, it's called the Trusted Build, everybody. And what that was, in the spring of 21, you deleted every single records of the 2020 election in the state of Colorado. Every single machine they said it was an update. No, it deleted the records, okay? And by federal law, you got to hold them 22 months. By Colorado law, you got to hold them 25 months, okay? Everybody following this? Well, when they did that, I was already sued by Dominion then. I'm going, wait a minute. That's my evidence over there in Colorado. And then they were going to do it in Wisconsin, too. I'm going, by that time, you guys, I was everywhere. I was flying all over the state or the country, trying to meet different politicians and say, hey, we got problems here. I'm buying everybody's voter rolls and getting everybody's records. Well, anyway, Colorado's deleting them. Now, Tina Peters and other clerks, when they're coming in, they're going, okay, before I turn this, my job is I have to do a backup. She did a backup. It's like if you back up your computer, if they're going to zap it or do something or an upgrade, you want to make sure you got it backed up. She did that. That's become known as the Mesa County image, everybody. By the way, it's on Lindell TV here. I want you all, you're watching right now. If you go to lindelltv.com and you go across the featured, it'll say inside the machines. Anyone ever tells you there's no evidence, you go send them there, okay? Boom. There's your cast vote records, your data, the Mesa County image, not the report, just the reports, everybody, on these experts that seen the image. It's right there. It shows the election flip. It shows everything. And that everybody, is why they went after Tina Peters, because if that got out and the media would say, hey, even though I put it right up on the website over 2.5 years ago now, almost 3 years, it's been up there ever since. And they go, Mike Lindell's got no evidence. Mike Lindell's got no evidence. Rubbish. It's all there for the whole world to see. And instead, but then now let's go back to the FBI gathered around Hardee's. They go, I said to the two from Colorado, I go, what are you guys doing here from Colorado? I said, I heard about you guys in Colorado. At that time, everybody, they were bashing down people's doors. A gal by the name of Sharona Bishop, you all know she's known as America's Mom. They came to her house. FBI, open up. They're eating breakfast. Bam! They bash her door down with a battering ram and rip her daughter down the thing with their hoodie. Another mom in Colorado. This all was in like a 2-3 week time span in the fall of 20. I guess in the fall of, might have been into 22. I'm not sure the timing, but when they did this, everybody, then they took this 14-year-old girl that they had bashed the door in and put her outside in her underwear. She had stuff in before in her past, and make her stand outside there while the FBI is doing these horrific attacks on these citizens. This went on, and I heard about all this in Colorado. And I looked at the one guy, the FBI, I go, you should be ashamed of yourself, bashing down citizens' doors. And he goes, well, Sharona didn't open her door fast enough. And I said, I heard it was 38 seconds. What, are we all supposed to have little egg timers? Hurry, the FBI's at the door. Run, get it open before they bash our door down. Just disgusting. Nobody was ever charged there except when they went after Tina Peters. And they made her, she's still in prison. We're going to talk about her in a little bit. I talked to the president about her on Wednesday. And he said a week ago, he said, I'm getting her out, Colorado. There's going to be a lot of problems with, you're going to have some big repercussions if you don't let her out. He said this a week ago on Truth. You guys can check it out. But so the FBI guys are all in the parking lot. And this goes on for like 45 minutes. I still don't even know what what are you tying me to? I didn't meet Tina Peters till the summer of 21 at the Cyber Symposium, but I kept telling them, I want to be arrested. I want to be arrested. And they're going, no, Mike, we're not going to arrest you. And then here it comes, everybody. They go, well, Mike, we're not going to arrest you. We're not going to arrest you, but we do want, speaking of phones, right? We are going to take your phone. I go, you ain't taking my phone. I said, I don't even use a computer. Everything I run is off that phone. I run multiple businesses. There's passwords. There's all kinds of stuff on that phone. And everybody, it hadn't been backed up for about 12 days. And I had pictures of my grandkids and stuff in there. But my dad had passed away after that. So those pictures and everything was trapped in that phone. So the FBI, I go, you ain't getting the phone. And they go, yeah, we are. And I said, well, then you're going to have to arrest me. I said, I'm calling my attorney. I want to call an attorney. They go, no, we're not going to let you call an attorney. I said, well, then we got a problem. I said, then I'm going to get arrested because you ain't getting the phone. And he goes, okay, we'll let you call your attorney. So I called up Kurt Olson. You guys all probably know who he is, one of the best attorneys this country's ever seen. He's been side by side with me fighting for our elections and has saved this country for the last 4.5 years and even longer. And you could get him on the phone, all the FBI, all the people are gathered around the parking lot going, what's going on? Kurt gets on the phone, and this guy, he tells me, he goes, Mike, give me your phone. I go, I'm not giving him my phone. We're literally like this, pulling back. I said, no, I'm not giving it to him. And he goes, Mike, they're going to arrest you. I said, but I want to get arrested. And so finally, I said, okay. They read a thing to him, some papers, and it says that they have the right to take this phone. I go, that's it. I said, can I get a backup? No. I said, and can I see when it was last backed up? And they looked at him. The guy looked. He said it was 12 days ago or whatever. I said, you guys, I'm going to lose a lot of stuff here. When can I get it back? Well, we don't know. So Kurt gets off the phone, and now the FBI, they give me this sheet of paper, and it goes on for over the next hour. I sat there and told him, I said, how can you guys do this? I said, don't you guys have any moral compasses anymore? The one guy had read my book, and I said, you've read my book? I said, and you're still doing this to citizens? And he goes, Mike, it's our job. And I said, you should be ashamed of yourself. I said, all of you. You know when something is wrong, when you cross a line because it's your job and it's wrong, I mean, you're as guilty as anyone out there that, and you're inside. If you have any moral compass, will tell you that. I said, you guys should all be ashamed of yourself. I'm chewing them out, telling them about the Lord, ministering to them. And the one guy finally, he goes, Mike, he goes, I've been doing this for 30 years. And he goes, I've never had a stop like this. He goes, we have stuff we have to do. I go, oh, really? You could have came to my office and got a phone, got a download, and you're too busy? I said, you're going to sit here. And I said, I got another question. I said, you guys didn't even check my ID. And he pulls out this big pack of papers now, and he goes, he's got this big picture. And he goes, Mike, it looks like you. And he goes, it is you. And I go, and he goes, and we want to give you these packet of papers. And here's what the paper said. It said, now we're taking this phone, blah, blah, blah. We would rather you didn't tell anybody about it because it's part of an ongoing investigation. But if you do, it is your right to tell people. And if you do tell anyone, we want you to contact the Attorney General, blah, 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 of Colorado. And I go, okay, you bet. So they let us go there, and we drive up to where I'm at right now in this office 3 years ago. I might have been today. And I got on here and break the news to the world. I said, everybody, plug your ears while I tell the Attorney General of Colorado about them taking my phone and my livelihood and everything that was on that phone. And that was 3 years ago, everybody. Today, with the White House, I get back from the White House, and the FBI delivered that phone. I took it out of the bag so I could charge it. And that's what they did. They sent it back. Here's the little paperwork. The paperwork says, the enclosed material obtained in connection with the investigation activity of the Federal Bureau of Investigation is being returned to you. Please sign the enclosed property receipt in the bottom left corner and return the remainder of the attached postage page envelope. Yeah, you bet. That's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to tell them that I got my phone. Yeah, 3 years. You guys, during these 3 years, our rights were so violated by people across this country, from the J6ers to you name it, all the way to Tina Peters now being the worst one. She got put in prison for 9 years. She never had a jaywalking ticket in her life. She's a Gold Star mom, 7 years old. All she did was fight for all of us to get rid of these electronic voting machines and sound the alarm. Once you see what we've seen and know what we know, it's over if we don't get rid of these. So this phone, they get the phone, and I took the phone then, took it to the court and to get it back. They denied it, so we took it to the Supreme Court. I took it to the Supreme Court. Of course, all my stuff in 1 week, they denied. Mike Lindell. We're not going to look at this. Because why? They didn't want to see any of the stuff I had with the election or the electronic voting machines. Anything I had any way to get before them and say, by the way, here's what's on the phone. You know, all you're going to find is text. Everything on there is to get rid of the electronic voting machine. My whole life just dissolved into that. Every day from morning till night, 18 hours a day for the last 4.5 years, as getting attacked and attacked. So then they turn it down. So we bring it to this the 8th Circuit here in Minneapolis, 3 judges. And the FBI and the government gets up there and goes, they go, well, why are you keeping his phone? Why don't you just make a download? One of the judges asked, well, we need the physical phone. We need the physical phone. Okay, well, who's looking to see attorney-client privilege? And they go, well, we are. So imagine that, everybody. The FBI and their lawyers are looking at it going, wow, we shouldn't have seen that. That's between them and their lawyer. It's kind of like, disregard that, jury. It's already out. They've already seen it. It was the biggest violation of rights ever. This is what they've done this last 4.5 years to people across the country. The worst one being Tina Peters sitting in prison. Well, the J6ers, all the stuff that happened there too. But as we sit right now, when it comes to electronic voting machine, which, by the way, January 6th, it's all ties together. The China virus, everything. You guys, it's all part of a bigger picture of evil over our nation. This has been a spiritual battle of biblical proportions, historical proportions, a battle of good and evil. So they get the phone back, and 3 years went by, you guys, to today. And I'm leaving on that hunting trip today. I think we're going to go right through Hardee's and relive those memories because I would have never guessed in the last 3 years what was going to happen. So here I get a letter. After 3 years of keeping my phone, and, well, you've done nothing wrong, you know, you're a good guy, you know, it doesn't say that on there. It doesn't say where an apology, it says, let us know you got it. Rubbish. I'm not letting up on this, ever. We're going to find out, we're going to be digging and digging and digging to see when I said we're going to melt down the voting machines and recycle them and turn them into prison bars, all these people, like Jenna Griswold of Colorado, you know, Brad Rasper down in Georgia, all these people that I believe are the biggest criminals that ever walked the planet. And they'd be right behind those bars. Let me out, let me out. You know, you should have thought about that when you went after our country, our citizens, and done what you've done. So now, you know, I was just opening the phone and it brings back, it's almost surreal. The last picture ever taken was when I was down hunting. I think that was 3 years ago. It's going to be a good trip today. But then you had one of the things that were on this phone that I didn't get to use back then. We did a parade. We do it every year, and in our 2 hometowns here in Chaska and Carver, Minnesota, and we use that footage. My Pillow does we do it for advertising and interest on the social media sites. Well, we weren't able to use that. It was all that stuff was on my phone. It was all the pictures and the videos of throwing out the pillows to the little kids. They kept that from us back then. There were passwords and just so many things you can't imagine. It's not like the old days, you know, 20 years ago. Oh, yeah, I took your phone, go buy a new one. You know, everything that was in there, all the stuff that was in there, even though like I say, some of it was backed up in a cloud, a lot of it wasn't. Things that had to be redone. And I just remember those days back. The things not Trump, beautiful. No, everything is not beautiful. We have been attacked at My Pillow. Let's just start with that one. Probably worse than any time in history. They just keep attacking. Remember, My Pillow was debanked, demerchant server, box stores taken away or that retreated. A lot of them just because they were afraid. Shopping channels, horrible, like QVC, HSN. We're their number one selling product of all time. We've sold 85 million My Pillows, but they relentlessly. My Pillow was sued by Dominion, Smartmatic, Eric Coomer. By the way, everybody, was that a great victory for My Pillow in Colorado when My Pillow was found 100% innocent? Imagine every advertiser in the country afraid to advertise on a show because the host says something going, and they sue the advertiser too. And you guys, that's my buddy that we're going Tom. That is Tom right now that I told you. 3 years later, we're heading down today. Tom, you're on speaker. I was just telling the country about our trip to Hardee's. We're going to have to stop on the way back for live the memories, right?
That's right.
Okay. All right. I'll see you. I'll see you in about an hour. We got a little bit left of the show. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, isn't that something? What timing? Yeah, I'm very excited to get a little break to be able to go hunting and with my family and friends, and I got my son over here, and we're going to have a great trip. But back to this with the attacks. So my pillow has been under attack. We made it through. Well, people seen me. I put a post up with me and myself and the president. I put it up on social media. We had the great meeting on Wednesday about our election platforms and stuff, and about Tina Peters, and he wants her out, and he's going to get her out. Trust me. Well, anyway, I put that up, and people going, wait, gee, Mike Lindell, you're still in business. Mike Lindell, you're still in business. All these bots and trolls. Well, yeah, we made it through by you guys and the grace of God. And I will tell you something we need help on right now. This would be a good time to tell you because we're running commercial free here. You guys, right now, we have to pay cash for everything because of those lawsuits. The banks have debanked us. They've squished our credit lines and everything. And so we right now we're putting our buys in. We have to pay cash for our winter things, our flannel sheets, our things that your winter products. And to do that, we're liquidating a closeout sale for our bed sheets. This is our percale weave, you guys. These all of these sheets, any size, any color. Remember, kings are regular $119.98. We have Cal Kings, Split Kings, and regular size kings, queens, all of them over $100. The kings, $29.88. Any size, any color, as many as you want. Once they're gone, they're gone. We have all these in inventory. We're trying to raise money right now so we can put our buy-in for our winter products. And you guys, these by the box stores canceling us, you guys get this benefit. Yeah, these are lower than employee price. These are like wholesale price, $29.88. Some of them are below wholesale. Use that promo code LTV, everybody. Go to mypillow.com, use promo code LTV, and here's what I'm going to do for you. Free shipping with that promo code on all the MyPillow products. I don't care if it's the beds made in the USA. I don't care if it's all the pillows, whatever you want to get. Your whole order, get those big ticket items with that promo code LTV. Free shipping right now on your entire order. And these bed sheets, once they're gone, they're gone. Or you can call my operators. They're right downstairs, 800-676-2147. They 676. Yeah, hold on here. Yeah, 800-676. It's on the screen. 2147. You guys help us out. Help my employees out. And help my pillow. It's a win-win-win. They're a great sponsor here at Lindell TV. And you're helping my employees, my employee-owned company, keep them families going. They work from home, mom and dad, so don't take in your call. And then it helps you get the best night's sleep and the best products in history. Okay, so the next thing, that's my pillow. The next thing I want to talk about is the current thing. You guys, what's going on now? Let's go back in time. So about the time the FBI did that with my phone, I believe it was almost the same time they came after and they debanked us. American Express was the worst. They came, we'd never been late in our lives, and they shut us down. You all might have seen that in the news. This was making the news back then. They shut us down. The banks debanked us. That made the news. No reason. They just shut the banking down. They also did it to my charities. They did it to my, a merchant server, if everyone knows what that is. They went after us. You had other companies that everybody squished this credit in, going, something happened to my pillow. So then it was like a run on a bank. It was disgusting what they did. And yeah, there it is right there. It said he's disgusted with two banks he claims are cutting ties. Yep, there you go. That was, and I don't know, does it say the date on that, Tyler? There it is, January 17, 2022, everybody. So you think about that. The tax went all the way through 21, And then they start debanking and attacking us from January 22. It's never let up, everybody. Everyone goes, Mike, wow, you made it through. We're still coming through and we're still getting attacked. Here is the biggest one right now. If you guys ain't even going to believe this. By the way, everybody, with the cell phone and all this, you guys can help save our country. The Lindell Offense Fund, I want to put this up there. The Lindell Offense Fund, I set up the biggest network of people this country's ever seen, volunteers, called the Cause of America, the Election Crime Bureau. You can all learn about it at vocal.com, but we need your help. Lindell Offense Fund, LindellOffenseFund.org, LindellOffenseFund.org, or call 800-598-6747. You guys, we need your help. We've got days that executive order. They have 16 days. We're hoping that you guys can read that, the golden age of election integrity. I'm working with the president down, but this is all our people working on the ground up to enforce what he's put out there. You have states like Alabama, Secretary of State there. Right now, these are uniparty Republicans. The Secretary of State of Alabama is buying war machines. They've all been told not to. They're buying ES&S machines, and ES&S was the highest priced one. They're the biggest machine company in the United States, the good old boys out of Omaha, Nebraska. Now, let me tell you, there's that. Then you go over to Louisiana. Explain Louisiana. Nancy Landry, not related to Jeff Landry, who now is a good friend of mine, who now is the governor, who I can't reach right now. I'm trying to reach him and say, how come Nancy Landry, your Secretary of State, is trying to buy more machines? You got a president saying, hey, we're getting rid of them. We're going to paper ballots, hand counted. Why are you buying more machines out there? Nobody's listening, but boy, they're going to listen. And we're going to call these people out. Nancy Landry, Secretary of State of Louisiana. You know what? He can't. And she actually put a letter. We got a letter from the White House that says that's okay to do that. Wrong. I don't know where you think you got that letter, but it didn't come from our great president. So you better rethink that over there in Louisiana. Now, the next one, you guys, we all went through before, the crooked Brad Rassenberger in Georgia and Robin Voss of Wisconsin, Kim Hammers in Arkansas. These are blockers, everybody. By the way, in Arkansas, the governor there, Sarah Sanders Huckabee. Come on, Sarah, get on board. Why are you all pushing back on our president wanting to secure our elections? This is wrong, and it's going to stop. It's going to stop. We're at a critical time in history. If we don't secure our elections before, not the midterm, the primaries are the midterm. When I said I'm thinking about running for governor, I'm very much considering it. And one of the biggest reasons is, one of the biggest things is to secure our elections. Back in 2020, when I was going to run in 2022, I said I wouldn't run to be a dog catcher with these computers in place. Well, that's all changed because they're going to be gone. But we need your help, everybody. Go to LindellOffenseFund.org, call 800-598-6747. If you've ever endorsed a candidate, every dime you put into here is going to secure our elections and save our country, period. So if you're rich out there, you have money or you don't have money, anything, $5 to $50,000, we need help right now with LindellOffenseFund.org. Where's the money go? 100% goes to secure elections. That's all the people out there, organizations that we're like the hub of the wheel. They need help. The Election Crime Bureau, we finance the Cause of America. They're out there. These are the ones on the ground that are calling out these local politicians and trying to get it county by county. We have three of the best hand counting systems in the world that we developed, the Cause of America developed, and we have to get those, go state by state. Every state is a little different. Every state has their own rules. So when our president, when he comes out and says, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to go to paper ballots, hand counting. We already have the systems, and every state is a little different. Missouri has there are rules that are a lot of these states have horse and buggy grandfathered in rules back then, and you need to tweak them a little bit so to add the cameras. They didn't have these cameras they have now. Back then, some of their laws on the books are old, but every one of them Every one of them we go to hand counting to fit within that. My team knows that from the ground up, and it's going to be a very easy transition. Just like when the last country to ever switch to paper ballots was Argentina a couple years ago. One brave judge said, "We got to get rid of these machines. This is so corrupt. This is disgusting." And they go, "But Your Honor, we don't think we can do it in time. It's only 4 months to the election." She goes, What election? It won't be an election if you have the machines. It'll be a selection. So she said, no, do it. And they did it. And they did it. And they did it in 4 months. They did it faster than the Netherlands when they threw all their machines in the sea, which is just, they could have recycled and melted them down. They just threw them away. And because that's what they were told. The Netherlands back then, when they asked, what are we going to do with these machines? They asked Cliff, I forget what his name is now, Clint Curtis. He's a Democrat. He was the first one that set up the algorithms to steal elections. And he told the Netherlands when they called him, this is in the 2008 or something like that, said, "Hey, we're the Netherlands here. You set up this algorithm to steal elections in these voting machines. What do we do?" And he says, "There's nothing you can do. Nothing. Get rid of them. Throw them in the sea." The Netherlands, they panicked. They when 5 months, they switched over to paper ballots and counted. Argentina did it, freed their whole country. I believe it was the fall of 22. It was beautiful, that election. So there it is right there, everybody. Beautiful. Argentina approves single paper ballots for their national elections. Praise the Lord. That's what we got to do here. You guys get on board. Help out LindellOffenseFund.org. This is not. I used to be the sole provider. I ran out of money. I don't have any more money. You heard that all over the news. You guys know what the prosecutor said. The crooked lawyer over there in Colorado for Coomer, just a bunch of criminal crooks lawyer. I think I called him part of the biggest criminal crime family ever. And he tells the jury, and the judge let him do this. This is the last thing the jury heard in May of this year. Well, we all know that Mike Lindell had a net worth in upwards of $100 million. And now he's $10 million in the hole. He's put it all into, help save the country. He's $10 million in the hole. But we're asking you jurors today for what he said about us. We're asking you for $60 million. If you want to give us more, that's fine. We know it'll probably bankrupt MyPillow and Mike Lindell, but so be it, because we need to send a message to the country. If you speak out about the elections and put out disinformation, you too will be driven into bankruptcy like Mike Lindell. That's what he told the jury, everybody. The guy's disgusting. And you know what? And I told you a long time ago, 2 years ago, I think I said, when the media is going, don't you wish, you're out of money. Don't you wish that you would, if you could go back in time, would you change anything? I said, no. We lose our country, I lose everything anyway. Everything will be gone. And I said, I will borrow money. I will never stop talking. I said, you guys can destroy everything I have, and I will still be sounding the alarm. And that's what I'm doing again today. LindellOffenseFund.org, 800-598-6747. The last thing I'm going to tell you, here's currently, I met with the great president, and he said, how's it going? I said, you know what? They're still attacking me. I said, I'm very much thinking of running for governor of Minnesota. But here's what happened, everybody. Last September, yeah, there I was. This is me and the president on Wednesday, everybody. We had a great meeting. And man, I tell you, everyone says, oh, he's so healthy and so upbeat. He's always optimistic, everybody. I can't ask for a better friend and a better president, and you can't either. I always said, everybody loves our president. Some just don't know it yet. I put that all over the internet. They go, wait a minute, you're talking for me. No, you all will, because as you keep coming in this bucket of common sense, people last night go, why is he meeting with Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and all these people? You guys, these guys, those 10, 15 people in that room, they control everything. Why would you not want to meet with them? You think about that. We've tried to get uncensored by these creeps for how long? Mark Zuckerberg, he should be put in prison. I'll say it. You know what he's doing right now to my pillow and my store? These entrepreneurs, what Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg is doing right now, and I'm going to call him out. You know, maybe I'll be able to get to Mark and say, Mark, why are you doing this to a USA company? These entrepreneurs, mystore.com, that has, you know, over 1,000 USA products, and you know what he did, you guys? Here's what he did. I posted a post on my store. One of our gals that makes our videos. She posted a thing where I was at the White House and I was doing a My Pillow thing there. I was doing a read at the White House, and Zuckerbuck's algorithm seen that and shut it down. And now we buy ads and the money is zero. It's flatline. It's like you're talking to yourself. Hey, you want to buy a pillow? No, where's that? And he not only did that, but we put up Lindell TV, a post from the White House, and he covered up, not the post, he covered up Lindell TV and said, contains false information. Well, I got news for you, Mark. I ain't putting up with that, you old suckerbuck. This is disgusting. And then at my store, I was riding a bike with our new energy drink that we have called Rev 7. I'm riding a bike about that, telling about it, and all of a sudden, after that date, anytime we put an ad up for my store, it's flatline. So, nobody will explain that to us. You know, well, I'm going to get to the bottom of it, old Mark Zuckerbuck. Well, anyway, it's disgusting what he's doing to not just my company, but others, and all of them. I think 90% of the people in that room that last night have done some sort of suppression, whatever. But people are calling me going, Mike, what's he doing? He's having dinner with them. What's he supposed to do? Of course, you got to find out where they're coming from. I mean, this is disgusting what these guys have done to our country. Remember, you guys, Zuckerbuck, YouTube, Vimeo, and Jack Dorsey's crooked Twitter, those platforms, that's all we had back then. That was it. And then Parler came out and said, hey, I'm here, Parler's here. Bam, they wiped Parler off the face of the earth. Are you kidding me? But look where we have now. We have all these different social media platforms out there. We've got Getter, Truth, Vocal, Elon's X instead of crooked Dorsey's Twitter. You have Telegram, all these different platforms. And I encourage you all to get Gab. Don't forget Gab. A great Christian platform. I know the owner there. But all these, you should get accounts everywhere and spread the news and spread the word. All right, last thing I'm going to tell you. In Minnesota a year ago, Waltz, our horrible governor, what's going on then, I was actually, I went through 4 days this when he announced he was running for, I think it was the vice president, when he was doing that, whatever it was, last September. There's a lot of stuff in the news about him. Let me see if my guy, if he sent me back the dates on that. Hold on a second, everybody. Okay, so here's the timeline. Tim Waltz announced that he was announced as the Democrats Party candidate on August 6th of 2024. Later that day, in an interview in the War Room, I criticized Waltz's handling of the China virus, the riots, claiming Waltz made horrible decisions. He hindered charitable efforts to provide masks to church. This is all the stuff that I went head-to-head with Waltz with, but I came out with it right after he announced he was running for vice president, right? And there was a huge response in favor of my comments on X. Everybody, all of a sudden, we're getting the word out to the country what a horrific guy this is, and basically pure evil what he's doing to Minnesota and to what his decisions that he had done. Now, you ready, everybody? 1 week after that I kept doing these high-profile interviews exposing Waltz's record of failure without any evidence of a third-party complaint, the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota, Crooked Keith Ellison, demanded records from 3 of my charities. That was a year ago, everybody. He went after my charities. Lindell Foundation, Lindell Outreach, and my biggest one that I put millions into, what I'm very dear to me, being an ex-addict, the Lindell Recovery Network the LindellRecoveryNetwork.org. And you guys, as we speak, it's never let up. Just a week ago, he gave us 15 days to come up with all the stuff from this year. We haven't even done anything on the taxes yet. He's doing something that's unprecedented. Okay, we dug into my bank accounts, opened stuff up. What's this for? Where is this money? Why is this money going transferred from here to here? It is disgusting. It's an all-out attack. You guys, if you can put Tyler on the bottom, put Lindell Recovery Network. You guys, if you can help out, we have to get attorneys for this now. I need help there. We need it's Lindell. If you got the Lindell, it's LindellRecoveryNetwork.org. And if you go there, you can donate, help, because we have to raise money. I have 15 days to raise money. I have to get an attorney here in Minnesota. My attorneys that just sent this to me, they said, "Oh no, this is an attack beyond belief." So, Tyler, do you have that one website? But otherwise, I'll tell you guys again. It's Lindell Recovery. Yep, LindellRecoveryNetwork.org. And you guys, I'm going to have to cut this short in about three minutes, I guess. I guess we have 3 minutes left, but what he's doing is horrific. He's attacking this LindellRecoveryNetwork.org, everybody. This is a, when I set up, it's other addicts, thousands of them, everybody. You go there, and if you're in addiction, you can get the help you need there right online, and it's free. I offered it free. It cost me millions of dollars to set this up. We thousands of videos, and I have a guy this Chuck, this pastor, he goes around the country gathering more and more material for this. We have search engines in there where you can find a church that'll help you, find a treatment center that'll help you. They're all faith-based. It's got an online platform there will help you getting off the drugs and stuff, or the addictions are just a bonus. You get you to Jesus. And when I was saved on February 18, 2017, everybody, the way I was saved, the process I went through, it was a miracle, is on this site. But the big thing is we need right now is we need your help, because we need lawyers. I don't want this site going away. He wants it gone. Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, wants me to quit talking. He doesn't want me to run for governor of Minnesota. And he certainly doesn't want people getting off drugs and finding Jesus Christ as their Savior. So I'm going to leave you all with that. We could really use your help, everybody there. There's a place to donate. We're trying to raise money. We need an attorney here in Minnesota to fight him directly head on, an attorney that specializes in attacks by people like Keith Ellison, weaponizing, once again, the government against a voice. All right, it's all of our voice. You know, God bless me with a platform, with a loud mouth. But if you read my book, I couldn't even talk to people back in the day when I came out of addiction. I always needed that crutch. But I'm telling you, this is all of our voices. This is all of your voices. And we're going to get through this. And when we do, we're going to look back and say everything that's happened was on God's timing. And it was all, God uses all things for good for those who believe. I want you all to keep the faith. And I will, I'm getting done now. I'm going to go on, I got to do a commercial on, my pillow thing on one of the platforms that has stayed with us, Steve Bannon's War Room. I'm going to do that now. And then I'm heading down, going right by that Hardee's, everybody. I got my phone back. It's going to be 3 years later, and we'll see if I beat Tom again this year hunting. So thank you all. Thanks for coming to Lindell TV. God bless you all, and we'll see you on Monday. With everybody talking about making America healthy again, I thought today'd be a great day to talk to all my fellow patriots about the importance of making your homes healthy again. Well, we have proudly partnered with airwaterhealing.com and their revolutionary whole home air purification system. The V3 from Air Water Healing does 3,000 square feet of purification. It eliminates dust, mold, viruses, and odors. But here's the part I love. They require no filters to ever be changed and virtually no maintenance. Whether you suffer from asthma, allergies, seasonal bronchitis, or just want to protect your family from the flu or even greater threats, don't wait to get your V3 from airwaterhealing.com today. Use code Lindell for 20% off in savings and free shipping. That's promo code Lindell at airwaterhealing.com. Let's face it, you can't trust Big Pharma. They've already tried to block ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and raise prices on everything from antibiotics to your daily meds. Well, there's good news. All Family Pharmacy is standing up for medical freedom and helping people get the treatments they actually want. My family and I use them all the time. They made it easy and affordable without the runaround. While other pharmacies are jacking up prices, they've actually dropped theirs. Ivermectin now starts at just $2 a capsule. Use my promo code Lindell10, you get an extra 10% off of that. You need ivermectin, antibiotics, or methylene blue, you name it, they've got it. They make it simple. You fill out a short online form, a licensed doctor reviews it, and your meds ship fast right to your front door. If you want to be prepared and have your medications on hand, this is your new pharmacy. Visit allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell. Promo code Lindell10 saves you even more. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell. Promo code Lindell10.